everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Alex, and instead of letting fate choose my TBR this month, I have decided to do something more meaningful. For those of you who don't know, in the United States, the month of November is Native American Heritage Month, and I have been sitting on a small stack of books that is perfect for this cultural celebration. The books I have selected from my physical shelves are There by Tommy Orange, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie, and Elastoe by Darcie Little Badger. All four of these books are own voices stories, which means that every author is Native American themselves. Own voices are absolutely the most important form of representation in literature because these authors are going to be the most likely to represent their heritage the best. There was a Pulitzer Prize finalist in the year 2019, and it follows 12 characters who are all from Native communities. All of them are traveling to the big Oakland powwow, where of course they're going to learn things about themselves, but they're also going to discover that each of them has a connection that none of them know about. Their stories are meant to highlight the plight of urban Native Americans through their violent history, but also show the beauty of their spirituality. Tommy Orange is a descendant of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma. The Cheyenne were once an agricultural people who lived near the Great Lakes of Minnesota, but then they adopted horse culture and eventually moved west to follow the bison. The Arapaho, on the other hand, came from 4 different states, which were Montana, Colorado, Wyoming, and South Dakota in the 18th century. They also adopted horse culture and became very successful nomadic hunters. In the 18th and 19th century, the two tribes formed an alliance, and when they did, they created not only a stronger military power, but also very impressive trade routes that spanned from Montana all the way to Texas. I wasn't able to find much recent census data, but I do know that in 2012 their population was listed as over 12,000 people. The Only Good Indians is a horror novel about an entity that is trying to get revenge on 4 Native American men after some mysterious and disturbing incident from their youth. Each of the men has abandoned his culture and traditions, but they're all soon going to find out that that culture is going to catch up with them in a violent way. This is also the one that I have started reading first this month. I'm not sure if you can tell that I have some tabs in here already, and I can say that it is both interesting and disturbing. And I'm currently on page 44, so I still have a long ways to go. Stephen Graham Jones is a Blackfoot Native American. The Blackfeet settled in the region around Montana in the 17th century after they were pushed out of their original home in the woodlands around the Great Lakes by British traders. But once they eventually acquired firearms and horses, they became a prime example of Plains Indian culture. The Blackfeet Indian Reservation is located to the east of Glacier National Park and is about 3,000 square miles. The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian was a National Book Award winner and follows the story of Junior, who is a budding cartoonist growing up on the Spokane Indian Reservation. He decides to leave the reservation schools in favor of going to an all-white town school where the mascot is an Indian. And the story is inspired by Alexie's own personal experiences growing up. Sherman Joseph Alexie Jr. has ancestry from several tribes, and he too grew up on the Spokane Indian Reservation. The Spokane tribe of Indians is the interior Salish group, and they have inhabited parts of Washington, Idaho, and Montana for centuries, and the word Spokane actually means children of the stars or star people. The reservation itself is 160,000 square acres or around 250 square miles. Now, the last statistic I was able to find is that they have nearly 2,900 registered members. Elastoe was a Locust Award winner for Best First Novel, a National Indie Bestseller, a Nebula Award finalist, a Lodestar Award finalist, and an Ignite Award finalist, among many others. Emphasis on many. This book is highly acclaimed. This is a YA fantasy about Elastoe, Ellie for short, who lives in an alternate contemporary America shaped by ancestral magic and knowledge of its indigenous people. She can also just casually raise the spirits of dead animals. You know, no big deal. But when her cousin dies, people are very quick to chalk it up to just a car crash, but she knows otherwise. He's been murdered. So she is going to need the help of her family, her best friend Jay, and a memory in order to track down the killer, while all the people in the town and a mysterious doctor try to stop her. Darcie Little Badger is a Lipan Apache. The Lipan lived across the southern plains from Kansas to Texas, and they were among the first to obtain horses for hunting, which meant that they absolutely dominated the southern plains where the bison were most abundant. They were predominantly bison hunters, but they were also minimal agriculturalists. Unfortunately, by the 1840s, the residents of Texas were calling for the removal of the Lipan people from their settlements in Texas. They are still to this day not considered a federally recognized tribe, and this has resulted in a loss of most of their culture. Now, population statistics vary widely across different sources, and I don't trust most sources, so mine is coming from the National Park Service, which is a government website, and they state that in 1875, the population of the Lipan people was approximately 300 individuals. I was not able to find any recent trustworthy sources for current population statistics of the Lipan people, so I have no idea what their population is today, but I do certainly hope that it is more than 300 people. I think that this is going to be an absolutely fabulous reading month. There is so much culture here, so much history, so much talent, and award winners and best-selling authors that I really don't think that I can go wrong. So I am incredibly excited to dive into these and tell you my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these, or maybe I've piqued your interest to pick one of them up. I would love to hear about it. And until my next video, as always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, that you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.